Good morning, Thursday morning, heading now to Tel Aviv for several meetings and then an office hours as in a mentoring session at Techstars. They've been doing that for an hour and a half and then heading over to another accelerator, Drive Tel Aviv. It's an accelerator in the transportation space where I'll be meeting a startup that was accepted to TechCrunch Disrupt and reached out, asked me to train them. I was at Disrupt many years ago for a startup and we won the Audience Choice Award, so they asked me to come over and meet them and give them some ideas on how to perhaps compete over there. It's going to be an exciting day and then the weekend. Pretty excited about that. Let's do this. Tel Aviv to Atidim, actually the neighborhood where I started my career. My first job out of college was here. Going to meet some investor. Honestly, I have close to zero context. He has some startup in the early stages that he invested in and he wanted me to give him my thoughts on it. So it came from someone important that asked me to meet this guy. Meeting him, like I said, very little context. Not sure if I can interview him, not sure who he is, not sure what the story is, but we shall see. But Atidim, probably the worst parking in all of Tel Aviv, but it brings back memories from the early days. Meeting is starting shortly, so I did a little research because that's what you're supposed to do before a meeting. This guy sold a company to BMC for many hundreds of millions of dollars. I think he's worth a couple of $100 million. Again, not sure what we're here to talk about, but he seems like a very interesting dude. Now just to find his office. Where's his office? Yeah, that was the most incredible meeting I've had in probably months. Amazing meeting. Incredible dude. In his 70s, has had several exits, works with massive companies in Israel and in Silicon Valley. And he's talking to me about a new venture that he's invested in. We're going to continue the conversation. Now I'm heading to Techstars to do office hours / mentoring over there, but this meeting energized me big time. I want to say one thing, and I say this often, but most people would not have taken that meeting. I had absolutely no context. I was asked to meet the guy. There was nothing in it for me. Guaranteed, 100% this will lead to a mutually beneficial relationship. Also, he gave me his book. He wrote that, I'm excited to read it, but this dude is a legend. And lesson, always meet smart people. Never refuse the opportunity to meet smart people. That's what I've learned time and time again in my career, and no one else implements it. People are like too busy to have meetings. Meet smart people. You always end up gaining and benefiting. This was an incredible meeting. We're going to a tech accelerator, but the elevators don't work. What's going to be? Who are you guys? Am I doing office hours with you today?
Yeah, so we're going to do that at the ground floor probably. Apparently the elevator is not working.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I'm like 20 minutes late because I'm like standing here for 20 minutes. What's the name of your company?
Cabit.
Cabit?
Cabit.
Spell it?
Cubbit. So it's the Cabby for your bit. Very safe place to put your data on the internet.
Okay, cool. Are you guys partners?
Not partners, but I'm a business developer.
Cool. What's your name?
Aliona.
Stefano from Italy and Aliona from Belarus.
This is called taking advantage of your time. You're standing here waiting for the elevator. Let's do an interview.
We actually blocked the elevator on purpose. Not tell Hillel.
You really wanted to be There you go. Beautiful. All right, hopefully this will come eventually and they won't kill me when I get upstairs finally because I'm like 20 minutes late. I just need caffeine. That's all I care about. That's all I need. That was the most intense mentoring session I've ever done. 15 minutes mentoring sessions per startup. I did 7 startups, one after the other with 0 break in between. My head is exploding. Now I'm going to meet a company, train them, talk to them about TechCrunch Disrupt. It's 15 minutes away and it starts in 10 minutes, so gonna be late. Hate being late. A couple of weeks ago,
Yeah.
I get an email intro from my boy, Aviv Frankel, who I think is the only person that I know in Israel who's ever driven an Aston Martin DB9. Because Aviv Frankel used to be a car journalist at Channel 10. He's since left, and now he is an entrepreneur in the mobility space. He's a very cool startup in the transportation space, but that's a topic for another time. But more importantly, the reason I'm mentioning it is because when Aviv Frankel makes an introduction, I take it very seriously because I love Aviv. And he introduced me to this good-looking man on my left here. Who are you? What's your name?
Constantin. My name is Constantin. I'm co-founder of Caaresys.
Okay, so what's the website?
www.caaresys.com.
CAARESYS.com. So why did Aviv introduce us?
Because
You have some big news, that's why.
Big news, yeah. We're
Too humble.
between we call. About 2 weeks ago, we received the email from TechCrunch that Caaresys was picked up for the event, for TechCrunch event, Disrupt event 2018 in San Francisco.
Right. So you were selected to be part of the Startup Alley in San Francisco, TechCrunch Disrupt. TechCrunch Disrupt, you know, is probably one of the most, if not the most, influential tech events of the year. And Aviv knows, and I guess the reason he introduced us is that years ago in Startup that I was CMO of Zula, we launched at Disrupt. We won the Audience Choice Award. We launched on stage, and then we raised capital from Microsoft Ventures. And so I would imagine Aviv said, listen, Hillel probably can give you some advice, which he was right about. Not because, you know, I'm the most brilliant guy in the world, just because I know how this conference works.
Okay.
So we sat, we talked, and I'm pretty confident. I'm feeling pretty good. Why? Let me tell you why. What you're doing, you know, sometimes you got to tell a story when there's nothing to tell. But what you're doing is you're actually building something truly meaningful that will actually make our world better. What do you do?
We save lives.
I love it. It's like, just boom. All right, what do you really do?
We're trying to save babies in hot cars or cold cars in all over the world in automotive business, in cars.
Okay, so for the past, I don't know how many years, every time I hear on the news someone forgot their kid in the car, and I think to myself, I mean, we've got autonomous drones, we've got autonomous cars, we've got AI robots walking around the place, and yet there are people forgetting their kids in their cars. How have we not fixed it? So there have been many solutions, many suggestions of using all kinds of different, but the bottom line is that when I drive on the road, I know that there's an option that there'll be a cop down the road using a radar gun to detect my speed.
Correct.
Radar is not a new technology, we've had it forever. So why isn't radar being used to detect who's in a flipping car? This is what this guy is doing. Tell me more.
Yeah, which is how we are doing this. Actually, you're absolutely right regarding the technologies. We have a tons of disruption in our lives, technologies but the simple things like baby, the most important
Things in our lives.
Right, yeah, we see these numbers. It's about 23 children in the United States dying from hot, cold cars, dying, and about 700 is injured.
Wait, how often?
Yearly.
700, oh my God, that's horrible. That's
In
really
Israel, we have about 6-7 children in a year.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
It's just like unnecessary. Just why does that have to happen?
So this first of all, this is the why Caaresys is exist, and second, these are regulation coming, NCAP regulation coming to Europe by 2022. The car will be assist with the child presence detection system, and in the United States it will be bill, and it is already bill in Congress for 2020.
Love it.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
The
Okay.
government started to think that there's several OEMs like GM is really pushing this happening.
Okay, so we talked about one specific use case, which is the kids in the car, but there are other use cases for your technology.
Sure. First of all, radar. Back to your question. Radar absolutely is not new technology.
Right.
What Caaresys is doing is taking existing technology and adding secret sauce, like software. What we do, we collect and receive signal from the bodies. We see the bodies. We see the vital signs of the bodies. We don't see the baggage and the boxes and bottles.
Here's a piece of advice, you ready?
Yeah.
Instead of saying bodies, say people.
People.
Why? Because body sounds like dead bodies. People sounds like people.
Yeah.
You detect the people in the car.
Yeah.
Not only do you detect there are people in the car, but you detect the signs, the vital signs, their heartbeat, their anxiety, their tiredness, how hot they are, how cold they are.
Don't rush. We detect first of all.
There are people.
We see people. We see vital signs of people.
Right.
We don't see any other things in the car. We see people.
Okay.
So from this is a secret sauce of Caaresys. We know how to detect people from radar, and very cheap way.
Beautiful.
Automotive is driven by price.
Beautiful.
So the technology should be reliable and cheap.
Beautiful.
So once we see the body, the people in the car, we can extract heart rate and respiration rate.
Beautiful.
With this information, and other companies and OEMs and tier ones can do a lot of things, such understand your state, understand if you able to drive or not, if you're in stress, if you drink, if you're fuzzy or fatigue.
Let me just say one thing. You said something to be very, very smart before. You said there are two ways to do this, two ways to go about this: cameras and radar. Cameras, there's a place for cameras in the car. You can see your eyes maybe, but you said before, once you're going like this, guess what? Your car can beep as much as you want. I'm already sleeping and I'm getting into a crash. It's too late. But what happens if using radar, I can detect 20 minutes before that you should not be getting behind the wheel right now because you are tired or drunk?
It's medically, it's about 5 minutes before you sleep. We see the heartbeat and respiration rate is some correlation. I mean, it's medical, it's not we just provide the information, but some application will see this. We see these patterns, and the car will say you are going to sleep, stop and drink, stop and refresh yourself.
Right.
This is the idea.
Right. Okay, and so you're, in theory, putting a radar on top of the car, on the ceiling, that will detect all the passengers and tell you about their state. And you are, irrelevant of your technology, you in terms of the company, how many people work in this company around?
But we have a team of 12 people.
12 people.
Yeah.
And how much money have you raised?
It's about $50,000 only.
I mean, you guys are building life-changing, life-saving technology with $50,000 in the bank and 12 people on a team. I mean, if you talk about like lean, I mean, I never heard of such a thing. But more importantly, with those $50,000, you've actually signed some paying customers.
Yeah, the good things in the Caaresys is that we didn't get money from VCs. We do have money from related automotive business partners. That's mean we have 2 POCs with the 2 OEMs.
Beautiful.
And 1 tier ones. We're considering to sign additional tier 1.
Yes.
So we have a paid POC. We're only taking paid POC, and from this money we are trying to be lean.
Okay, now I'm gonna test you. Ready for a test?
Yeah.
There are so many companies out there doing this. What's your answer? We train for this.
I'm glad that there are some companies, my competitors in this field, because if there's no competition, there's a problem with the product, probably.
Right, but
in the market.
But more important than that, yes, competition is good. But remember what we said: the fact that there are many trying to solve this. At the end of the day, the problem still exists.
Yeah.
It's still a problem.
Yeah.
So bring on the competition. You are going to be the one to solve it.
We understand that radar is 100% detection.
Right.
There's a lot of other technologies and solution, like we already have this solution in the cars, in 2018 cars.
Okay.
But not perfect.
So let's end with a call to action. And then you're doing this TechCrunch thing next week. Hopefully you'll win, but even if not, it's going to be an amazing opportunity for you. You'll learn, you'll make relationships. It's great. Beyond that, though, you're looking to raise capital?
One of the targets of TechCrunch is, and after this, is raise capital.
So you're looking to raise capital. So if you're an investor interested in investing in something that's both obviously going to generate revenue, but maybe equally important impact because it's going to save lives, reach out. What's the best way to reach out to you?
Konstantin at Caaresys.com
or you could just send me an email and I'll pass it on. Constantin at Caaresys.com.
The idea, we are the whole team is the parents. So we started the company because of the child detection system.
Excellent.
So whatever we will raise money or we will not raise the money, I know, and I targeted to be in the car with my partners 2020.
I'm going to make one more statement, then I got to end the interview because it's too long, but I'm going to introduce you. Peter, if you're watching this, Peter Harris is the Chief Customer Officer of the Volkswagen Group, the whole group. So I'm talking Volkswagen, Audi, Porsche, Lamborghini, Bugatti, Skoda, and on and on and on. He's an amazing, amazing person and a good friend. I'm going to send this interview to him for him to take a look. It could be worth a discussion at the very least. Peter, ping the guy. But if not, I'll send it to him. In any case, listen, fantastic to meet. Wishing you all the luck at TechCrunch. Anything I can do to help now in the future, you let me know. Good luck, and man, I can't wait to see it in cars. But don't forget me when you're in every single car on the road.
Yeah, I will say.
All right, man.
Thank you.
I hope it was helpful.
Definitely, yeah.
All right, man. Thanks. Made it home was a fantastic day and a pretty great week too. Next week, a lot of exciting things happening. See you then.